Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Happy Hour with Dr. Dorothy and yours truly, Miss Anne. Dr.
Right.
Dorothy, how have you been?
I am fine.
That's good.
Looking forward to hearing what we are talking about today.
Today we're going to talk about myths in the financial industry, or
Yes,
myths in finances. I know we
finance.
have a dozen, not even a dozen, hundreds, if not thousands.
Yes,
So today we'll focus on just about six of those myths.
myths. Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe we begin by saying, well, what are myths?
That's a very good question. What are myths? Myths,
Mhm.
I would say it's just something that I wake up one day and I decide the sun is red
That's
and
your
I
myth.
just go with it.
That's your personal myth.
You know, there's no evidence to show it's red. I just woke up and I decided, yeah, it's red. And I
Yeah,
just go with it.
that's with it. And the society is just like you. We
Right?
can, yeah, we can agree as a group that,
Mm-hmm.
hey, collectively we behold this to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And remember psychologists say if something is repeated many times, even if it's a lie,
Exactly.
we embrace it and we go, yeah,
And
that's so.
financial industry, we do that a lot. There's so many myths. If you ask somebody, so where did you hear this? Like, what proof do you have to
There's
support what you're
evidence.
saying?
I've never thought of that.
No, a friend of mine told me,
Or I just believe.
or I just believe
I simply believe. Exactly. Beautiful faith without seeing. Huh?
without seeing.
You just say, yep, this is what I believe in, and you're not going to move me from my belief. Okay.
No, you will not.
Okay, so you go ahead,
All
read the
right. So
first
the
myth.
first one that we have is that you need to be an expert to manage your finances effectively. Now, I used to believe that before I became a
Mhm.
licensed financial professional because I would just go with what I knew and what I saw people do. Like, you go to work, you get your money, you pay whatever you need to pay, and then the little that you have left, put it in a savings account. Yeah. Things to do with investments or having your money grow. It never crossed my mind because I used to think it's so complicated. I have to have maybe my PhD in finances to understand that and the numbers. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready to do that. So let me just know about checking and savings accounts.
You're done.
But
Oh.
becoming licensed made me realize, no, no, you don't have to be an expert.
There's opportunity to be able to grow. I think for me, I like to parallel it with the family. I like analogizing things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people say, hey, before you have a baby, you need to know what it entails, how to take care of
Mm,
the baby,
that's
and
a good
interestingly
example.
enough, yeah, we just walk into it and wing it and
Mm.
move on. But the difference between raising a baby and your personal finances, the baby you can have this, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a preschool, there's a nanny, there's a lot that goes around raising this child.
Yes.
But when it comes to money, it's not that exposed.
Nope, it is
It's
not.
not, yeah, it's not something that's written out there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I started off with money, having worked in Kenya before moving to the US. And
Mm-hmm.
every step of the way, I always had somebody who's been in the game ahead of me, like a colleague would say, oh, this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. And so I even being introduced to the idea of making extra money beyond just what I get from my work, it's
Mm-hmm.
just that somebody suggested it to me. Did
Mm-hmm.
I consume it in a way that it can say I'm debunking the myth? Not
Mm-hmm.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
because systematic understanding of finance and understanding this piece of growing money as opposed to earning money
Mm-hmm.
or as connected is something that I have come to appreciate after getting licensed as a financial literacy professional.
Yeah, because even me prior to doing that, I was skeptical because I used to think, oh, I'm going to be forced to read so many books and write so many papers and do research. It wasn't until I jumped in and I was like, oh, wow, It's not that bad.
It is
It is not
doable.
that bad. You don't have to be an expert to do this. And the books are out there to teach you, depending on what you want to learn. Is it investment? Is it banking? So it just depends on what field you're interested in.
But you know, you could also get things that can also allow you to hold to your myth.
That's very
There's
true.
a lot of misinformation or whatever they call them, that can just make you think, yeah, I'll hold on to this myth of mine.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
comfortable.
Too familiar.
All right. Speaking of investing, the second myth we have is that investing is only for the wealthy. I used to be a firm believer of this. I was so narrow-minded because I used to think you have to have lump sum of money to invest. But I came to realize, no, a little goes a long way. And just you being disciplined and also knowing where you put your money.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can speak to the fact that I didn't think I could budget for the money that I get. It would have places where it's going. I can account for it, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in my view, I'm accounting for it without any waste.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to try investing, putting my money to allow it to grow. And I realized I still get the same salary and I can accommodate.
Yep.
Saving. And I still apportion to meet the other needs that I've set in place. So in my view, my ability to stretch what I need so that it can be chunked out to take out everything, it's all in my head.
Back to what you keep telling yourself and you start believing it.
I justify it. And I don't think it's only me, because I have a good friend, who I think introduced me to the idea of credit card and what to do in the US, the idea of borrowing and what have you. And she was of the same thinking that, where is the extra money? It's an unfortunate statement to say extra, which means it's money that you're not putting anywhere. That's the one that you're supposed to save. And if it's all gone,
especially if you're living from paycheck to paycheck, you're wondering, okay, where's the extra money coming from?
That is nothing. So I have saved quite a bit from the same paycheck that I believed could not be stretched. So, hey, that myth that it's, those people out there who have a lot of money are the ones who are saving. The ones who want their money to grow. And
as you don't have extra money, so you're like, nope, that's not for me.
Absolutely.
And then eventually when you have that extra, you still feel like, no, I'm not wealthy enough to invest.
I've attended financial planning where they even say, how much do you spend on coffee? Then multiply that coffee, but the total cost in a week, then total cost in a month. I'm like, I don't even drink coffee. I remember this lady commenting, that's so much of penny pinching. You want to come even for my coffee to save? I'm like,
but it just gives you like an idea of how you need to figure out your finances. They're using coffee as an example, not necessarily like this is what it is, but just taking into account, look at how much you spend on certain things and do the math and figure out, is this a need or a want?
Yeah. And we can make anything. We can prioritize them, move them around, and everyone becomes a need.
Yeah, like there's this lady I spoke with yesterday. She said she's in so much credit debt right now, but she said it's because credit card is so easy. Like, you just swipe, you don't even think about it. When you want to buy something, you go ahead and just swipe the card. So when I explained to her how the credit card is working against her in terms of the interest and the understanding that the power of compounding interest, it blew her mind. Because she never took into account how the swiping and paying just minimum.
Accessible. Some even say if you pay within a given period of time, there's no interest. But if you say
12 months,
that will fly by.
It will. It reminds me of whenever they tell you sign up for Spotify like 3 months for just
Mhm.
$9.99. But
Mhm.
what you fail to realize is the fine print. After that $9.99, after that, it's gonna be like almost $20, $30. It's the same thing with credit card. They tell you,
Absolutely.
oh, sign up and then 12 months, no interest. But after those 12 months, the interest is like 24%, 30%. You're like, whoa.
Mhm. Yeah. And you think that those 12 months things will change.
No, it will not.
And nope, they're not changing.
It will not. It will not.
You're
So
still digging yourself deep into a hole. So
yes. And then the third one we have is, oh, speaking of credit cards, credit cards are always bad. Hold on, let me pause.
mm,
All right, so the third one, like I said, credit cards are always bad. Now, for me, when I was introduced to credit cards, it was introduced to me as something good. It's not bad. Good in the sense that you don't have enough money, just swipe the credit card and then you pay it back.
mm,
Now, the problem is I was told pay it back in full, but if you don't even pay it back in full, there's that minimum that you
mhm,
can pay and you'll be safe.
you'll be fine.
But what they fail to tell me is that the interest builds up over time.
And
And
it's
then now,
compounding.
and
It's
it's
not simple
compounding.
interest. Yes.
Exactly. So it was good. To a point I had 6 of them. Just swipe, 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 make $50 payment here, $60 payment over there. Then after a while, I'm in $20,000 debts in credit cards.
Yep. And you're drowning.
I'm drowning, living from paycheck to paycheck. So credit cards, they are not bad. You just have to make sure that you don't overspend. And
Yeah.
then nowadays, since I was able to pay off my credit cards, if I use a credit card, I make sure that I can pay it back. If I can't pay it back, I am not swiping. And then I make sure that I use credit cards that give me a cash back. Pay me for using your money.
Using your money.
If you're not
Absolutely.
giving me cash back, I am not using. Yeah. What about you?
Oh, whoa. For me,
When
I
you were
was
introduced to credit cards?
it was like the lady said, "Why are you saying you don't have money that you don't have a card?" I said, "I don't." So she told me, "Oh, they send it through your mail. Go through your mail, you'll see." So I get one and I fill it out. And I'm so dumb. I just write I'm a non-resident. Of course, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell her I didn't get. She says, when you get one, call me so that you fill it out and I can hear, I can see, tell me what you're filling out.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to that place of citizenship. So she says, what do you write there? I just say, I say non-resident. She says, of course they won't give you because it means you're not.
Resident.
Yeah. And I said, really? She said, yeah. and I got. And she told me, you can go buy food and even have some money back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how wonderful they work. But she didn't tell me that bit of compounding interest.
Compounding. Mm-hmm.
I think for her, she was capable of paying off because she'd lived here a long time. So almost maybe 6 years. So when I'm coming in, she's 6 years into the US, I'm fresh. So she's my guide, and of course, with a lot of assumptions, thinking I know. So before I know it, oh my God, I am drowning in debt.
Drowning.
The compounding is explained to me, and I'm like, I never understood that. This is the amount I used. How come now it's double? And even
Right.
and you know what even hurt me more is that I could have paid. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I could have paid, but the fact that they say minimum, I also just wrote minimum and sent. So this assumption that people know, and then when I call her, she says, "Oh God, I forgot. I just assumed you knew.
Oh wow.
You're supposed to pay it all." So you can imagine I paid double. I felt so bad.
Same here. Same here. Like it reached a point I would make a minimum payment of $100. $60 is going towards paying interest. 60.
Yeah. Yeah. If you misused a credit card, it's like a friend. Used badly, you'll be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble.
Use it correctly, You stay together.
Yeah, so
Oh,
moral of the story, if you have a credit card, swipe it if you know you can pay it back. If you can't pay it back, don't swipe it. All right.
and
Myth
one
number.
thing I would add about credit card was the interesting thing that even when you uh, get a program that is going to reduce how much you pay,
Mm-hmm.
that the people who lend you money,
Mm-hmm.
they are very safe.
Oh, yeah.
So for you to clear your credit card debt, you could take 3 years, but if you declared that you're bankrupt, it could take even 10 years to clear your name.
Isn't that interesting?
And for them, they're just sailing.
Yeah. Yep.
Blows my mind. I'm like, wow.
They thrive off of us having misinformation or not having all the information.
I know.
Mm-hmm. I guess in this case, you can say ignorance is bliss in their favor.
It does. It does work. And it's no defense. You cannot say, oh, see, I didn't know. No.
They will show
No.
you the paperwork. You signed right here.
You can't even claim. You can't even
You
claim
can't.
I didn't know. You cannot.
Nope.
You cannot. Just swallow it, cry, and then do whatever you need and say, now next.
Yeah, right.
Going
So
to be wiser. Eh?
the fifth one is financial planning is only for retirement. Oof, I feel guilty about this. And you know, when you're working from paycheck to paycheck, honestly,
Mm.
it it doesn't cross your mind to save for retirement. Like you're saving for emergency.
Mm.
And then when the emergency happens, all your savings is gone. I don't know if that makes sense. So
Uh-huh.
and then retirement just for me it never crossed my mind. It never
And some
did.
of it, I think, is also the bliss of youth. You feel you're young, there's still a long way
Yeah.
for you to get there. And yet, in order to accrue enough to take care of you, the way the US is designed, is you're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to work for about 40 years. Begin at about early 20, retire 65,
Mm-hmm.
and have a reasonable, maybe a career where you grow up and therefore you're earning more money as you climb the ladder. And then when you retire, you'll be able to have some chunk of money that you can draw.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you do the math and now you understand that if you retired at 65, how long do you have? So that's emergency fund aside.
Mm-hmm.
Just assuming life is, it's
Mm-hmm.
average. You still need to have some amount. But I've worked all my time
Mm-hmm.
and I've always trusted my employer to take care of my retirement.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
And
that sad?
until I got the financial professional literacy training and I
Mm-hmm.
realized, yeah,
It is your responsibility.
it is my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do a portion, but then accommodating and planning and the nuances of my own life, they don't have it.
No.
It's me to be able to do that, which came to me as a shock because, hey, when you get employed, there's somebody who comes from human resource who gives you some forms
Mm-hmm.
to sign, eh? And
Yep.
you're like, okay,
They
you,
have me. They got my back.
I know, list your beneficiaries.
Lies. It's your responsibility.
Yes. They talk of the benefits, the health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I look like I'm covered until, for me, I play out the time I started working
Mm-hmm.
and the time I'm retiring. I don't have the benefit of the 40 years. But even
No.
if I have the benefit of the 40 years, it's good to know
Yeah.
what is it? Yeah, what is it that they have for you?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can do to enhance that?
Yeah. And also, I feel like during COVID, it was a wake-up call for some people. Because remember how you can't go to work and your bills still will need to be paid.
Mhm.
So if you don't have emergency fund or you never planned for those short-term goals,
What are you going to do?
what are you going to do? So financial planning is not just for retirement, for those uncertain moments.
Every day. But retirement is crucial because the regular payment stops.
Stops, yes. But
And then,
even at that, some people don't
mm,
plan properly because I spoke with this lady who she said, she started planning for retirement at a later age. Yeah. Also, there's that uncertainty. Will I have enough for retirement?
Mhm.
Like in the case of, I remember you mentioning that you looked at your 401k and you're like, whoa.
What is this?
And people don't look. You just get those forms when you're employed, you sign them, and then you just wait until retirement to check. And people listening to this episode, try and go and look at your 401k. See how much money you have there
I know.
and how long you've been working.
Check if you have some money in Social Security.
Yes.
You have the graph is mapped out, because it's just www.socialsecurity.gov.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. Go
you-
check. Go
they
check.
allow you to set up your account, and then you can be able to go in all the time and see, hey, what do I have
Mm-hmm.
here? Do I even qualify to have some?
I remember one time when I was doing my house cleaning a couple of years ago. I remember this lady, her daughter was going to go to med school.
Hmm.
The tuition
Mm-hmm.
was paid for, and then she talked about how since her daughter will be going out of state for school,
Mm-hmm. It's
she
going to be
wants to
more.
buy a house for the daughter. So I, I was, wait, what? What? So I had to stop, be like, what do you
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because she doesn't want her daughter to rent an
Right.
apartment or live in there. So she wants to buy a house.
Mm.
That's when I was like, wait, what world are we living in where your daughter is going to college and instead of renting an apartment, you want to buy a house? What am I missing? What am I doing wrong?
Saves the money.
Financial planning.
Mm-hmm. When
That's why
you
she's
leave,
able to do that.
you sell the house and leave. Yeah, I remember having a couple of graduate students. One was even international. He bought a
Hmm.
home. When they were done, sold the home, went back to his country.
I was mind blown because back to the whole myth. I'm used to if you're going to college, either you're getting student loans and
Mm.
then you're renting an apartment and then you'll be working off campus to keep up with paying rent.
Yep.
But here you are, you have your
That's
parents
your reality. Yeah.
who who wants to make sure you're going to college to study. You don't have to worry about rent.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about working off campus.
Yep.
Oh,
Focus.
I was like, wow, wow.
It's so different.
It's
Oh,
so different.
yep. Oh,
Wow.
and yet it can be done if one,
It can be
yeah,
done.
one
And
is
and
able to
now that we are
plan.
licensed professionals, we see why it can be done and why she's able to do that. Wow. Okay. So the last one we have is that you can't start building wealth until you are debt free. I
Mhm.
used to believe that, like, for the longest time after having that $20,000 debt in credit cards,
Mhm.
I wanted to clear this debt so much because I felt like I can't start saving
Mhm.
unless I'm debt free. But
Yeah.
I came to realize, no, you can walk and chew gum.
Mhm. You
You
can
can walk and
pay
chew
it off
gum
and still save some.
and still save some.
Mhm.
But having that debt, ooh.
I think it has been, for me, it had been repeated to me a lot of times. I went to this
Mm-hmm,
church where every Mother's Day they would have somebody talk about finance.
mm-hmm,
And I remember this person saying, always remember to pay yourself, meaning keep some money that you're saving,
mm-hmm,
either for a rainy day or keeping it for investing it before you pay your debts.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, that doesn't make sense,
Makes sense,
especially
yeah.
if people have the debts are accruing and the interests are compounding.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now, yep, I see sense in what they were saying. Because if you don't carry this along and you begin the journey late, you have a shorter time to have that accruing
Yes.
contribute to it. So, hey, the debt will always be there,
Mm-hmm.
but take care of it, not in a way that all your energy is going to the debt and then
The
you're
debt, yes.
That's what you're saying. Walk
Mm-hmm.
and chew gum.
Can walk and chew gum.
Yeah, a little here and a
A
little
little
there.
there. Mm-hmm.
Both of them are moving. One is moving towards reduction and the other one is growing.
Growing. And I think that's the last one for today,
You
unless
know,
you
no, that myth is related to another one that we had down You should
Uh-huh.
always prioritize paying off your debt over
Oh,
saving.
yes.
Those
Over
two are
saving.
really together.
Mm-hmm.
They go hand in hand.
I used to think that when I was drowning, I was like, okay, if I don't clear this debt, there's no way I'll be able to start saving and building my own wealth until
And I
I'm debt
think
free.
also the fact that your credit score is tied to your payment of debt,
Mm-hmm.
and yet it's not the entire thing. And paying them on time, even if you don't cover a big chunk of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a panacea of financial what do you call it? Freedom of
Mm-hmm.
independence.
Mm-hmm.
But I think being limited knowledge about finance and managing finance make us be so freaked out by the fact that
Yes.
you have the debt, and therefore you want to put all your weight there
Mm-hmm.
and leave everything at a standstill.
Yeah, diversify.
I'm
Always
surprised
diversify.
when I hear people say, hey, you should always have at least 3 accounts.
Yep.
So that means at least besides savings checking, you have another account. That could either be
That's
investment, it could be a dividend account, a mutual, whatever you have, at least you're not stuck to just the two.
the truth. That is very true.
Mhm.
Well, that being said, I think we've come to the end of today's episode. So we encourage everyone to comment, share, like, and we always appreciate your feedback. So until next time, have a lovely week and stay away from myths.
Yes. And if you
Have to
come
do with
across a myth,
finances.
look for evidence. Look
Yeah,
for,
or send us an email or comment and we can address it in
yeah.
the next episode.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Till next time.
Mm-hmm.